Hi everyone. I hope you're all well and surviving these strange times. One of the things that drew me to immersing myself into vintage clothing is the sociological aspect of it, and a phenomenon that has repeated a couple of times, at least a couple of times, has been the power suits for women. They seem to appear during wartime eras. Women historically have not been at a level of men, and please don't beat me up for saying that, but a lot of times certain things like wearing men's clothing, wearing extremely high heels or platforms, create the impression of power. And the first time, I think it was in 1914, Chanel created a jersey suit for women, and even the concept of wearing pants was foreign for women. But if you look back, really one of the first indication of pants for women was bloomers, and that was for sportswear, so that women would not expose the private area. It was quite controversial because women of any level of society were déclassé if they wore it. But it persevered, fortunately, and in the 20s and 30s, bathing ensembles, pants that had really wide legs, became very popular. Also lounging outfits, which was a combination of a blouse connected to pants. Anyway, I digress. Power suits. In World War II, women were called on to do the job of men because obviously the men were at war. And they had to wear practical clothing, so jumpsuits like Rosie the Riveter and pants to work in factories. You know, women have always been sexualized in the workplace, and one of the ways to kind of compete with the men was to emulate the same kind of silhouette. And if you think about the 1940s, men's suits had shoulder pads, and women's clothing in general had shoulder pads. It was a tricky way to make a woman's waist look really tiny, and it created a powerful silhouette. So, you know, don't mess with me. And you think about designers like Adrian and Irene and a lot of the Hollywood designers that utilized that silhouette on people, Marlene Dietrich, wearing that incredible pantsuit. So yeah, pants are a really important part of power suits. And they didn't really catch on such a large degree until the 70s, I believe. After World War II, power suits continued because Dior exploded onto the fashion scene with his new look. And if you wait until the very end, we have a very special piece to show you for the show off. But even someone like, this thing weighs a ton, Pierre Balmain, this is a couture jacket, solid copper beading, and there is no skirt to this, but you can see how this tailoring in a way emulates men's tailoring. I love this piece, so beautiful. And then in 1954, Chanel introduced her tweed suit. I bet you can tell who designed the ones that are on mannequins. They're both Chanel. What's fabulous about these suits are the tailoring is very much like men's tailoring. So we don't have a 1950s version of Chanel's tweed, but we do have one that's a little bit later. And this one's pretty special because it has all pieces. It has the blouse, the skirt, the jacket with the iconic chain on the bottom, the quilted lining, and this belt. And this is a couture Chanel suit from the 60s. It's not as much exaggerated shoulder pad, but the colors on this are fabulous. Very similar to this. But as we move along, think about the Vietnam War and think about how pants became pretty much very common. I mean, I remember it was a big deal in high school when we were allowed to wear bell-bottoms to school. And then there are movies like 9 to 5 and Working Girl, and in there you see the resurgence of the power suit. This particular piece, which I love, Gianfranco Ferré, great shoulder pads. This totally makes a statement if you were to walk into an office wearing this with a wide brim hat. And you've got, of course, Mugler, Alaya, and Montana, the trifecta of the 80s power suits. And this one is Lagerfeld. We included this just because oversized was part of the power suit as well. This color is divine. It's not blue, it's not purple, it's not periwinkle. And you've seen this Mugler before because it's one of my personal favorites in my collection. But look at the incredible shoulder pad and the tailoring to accentuate the waist. And as we work our way down the rack, we have more Mugler. We have Versace. And Versace also did epaulets, so there's a military feel to this man-tailored power suit. When Princess Diana was divorcing, say that 4 times fast, Prince Charles, and she got involved with doing a lot of charity work, she chose to wear suits as a way to consciously or unconsciously communicate she was a working girl. And her go-to suit maker was Versace. So this very well could have been something she would have chosen to wear. We have Norma Kamali with beautiful Indian sari material to create this pantsuit. Vivienne Westwood. The shoulder pad is not so exaggerated in her piece, but the tailoring is very, very man-tailored, very dandy. And Demoulister. Look at this fabulous piece. It's a sprinkled denim with a peak lapel, very 1930s lapel. And of course, Moschino, like the Rat Pack. This one has a medium-sized shoulder pads. And Tom Ford, Yves Saint Laurent. If you look in the fashion magazines today, a lot of the silhouettes from the early 2000s are being reintroduced because of, we're going to swing the pendulum over to minimalism because of what's going on in the world. So you're going to find straight leg pants, jackets that may not be as tailored, but like with skinny lapels, and designers like Anne de Meulemeester. I'm not so sure if Helmut Lang would be reintroduced today, but probably because his pieces are clean and classic. And you know, I like the idea of gender neutral. These things are gender neutral. So in addition to the pendulum swinging to minimalism, I mentioned oversized there are a lot of designers that are doing oversized pieces like this Lagerfeld. But just to mention one would be Balmain. And you can't look at a fashion magazine, flip through the pages, and not, you have to be able to reference past styles pretty much with everything that's there, that's on the pages. Which I love, because if you buy the right thing in vintage, something that is classic, something that speaks to you, something that's made well, you can have it and use it from now until the end of time. So for this week's show off, I'm very proud and happy to share with you a Christian Dior New Look suit. It's a very, very fine herringbone wool, and it has the panniers, padded panniers, the straight skirt, which I can tell you was shortened, but they fortunately did not cut the hem, so it can be brought down to its original length. It's in pretty good condition. It has missing buttons, but it's a very important piece of fashion history. I know I should be wearing gloves. Yeah, so I know these are the kind of things that you would see in a museum exhibition, and hopefully this will go to a museum. So this is a short episode. I want to tell you that we're fast approaching 50,000 subscribers, which I'm so grateful for you and for your interest and for your comments. And we wanted to do something different. Once we reach 50,000, we're going to reach out to all of you and ask you to send us images of yourself, perhaps wearing something that you got from us, which we'd like to share with our audience, with our community. And as always, if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. And if you're not a subscriber yet, please subscribe. And I've said this in past videos, we're in strange times and we all have a voice. So it's so important that we register to vote and also do the census. So now's the time for you to make yourself heard.